Hey everyone, Brent Kuhn here again. We've been slugging through this TPC Nalco litigation now for going on 6 years. I know everybody's patience has long since gone, but it has not deterred us from continuing to plow forward. And that was plowing forward through the litigation. It was plowing forward through all the delays emanating from TPC, Nalco, and other parties trying to stonewall the case by going to the Texas Supreme Court and delaying the prosecution of the cases through an MDL request. That delayed things a year. Of course, TPC's bankruptcy delayed everything for 2 or 3 more years. Other appeals regarding our attempts to bring in some other defendants resulted in yet more delays. The good news is, out of all of that, is that we were able to extract some monies since they had exhausted all their insurance, some monies out of the bankruptcy. Most of that has been distributed. It wasn't a lot, but again, it was better than nothing, which is what we would have gotten had we not retained bankruptcy lawyers in Delaware and here in Texas to help us fight for some residual rights that remain to you. And unfortunately, bankruptcy law is just a windfall for corporations who do bad things and don't want to pay. And they need to change those bankruptcy laws, but unless until they do, we made the best we could of the circumstances that we were dealt. Going back to where we are with the rest of the case, as I mentioned, we had intervened in the Department of Justice environmental charges against TPC, and the court allowed us to interplead into that case against the objections of the Department of Justice and TPC. So for the last year, we've been fighting them over compensation through the statutes, the environmental statutes they violated that create the penalties that the Department of Justice was charging them. Also allows people to be compensated. You don't get anything but economic damages, which is lost wages or medical bills or property damage, but most of you had one or all 3 of those issues. So on your behalf, we intervened in that litigation, and we were able to get the judge to tell them that he was not going to approve a plea agreement between them unless it involved some amount of compensation to all of the crime victims. And so all of you got to stand in the shoes of compensatory individuals under the statutes that they were prosecuting TPC under. Probably for the last year, we've been dealing with them almost daily in negotiations over what monies, if any, would be paid. So the good news is all parties have signed off on an agreement this week that will effectuate another trust to where there will be an amount of money deposited in the amount of probably about $37 million for the benefit of all the people that had claims. This would capture everyone who had filed a claim with the bankruptcy in Delaware under the proof of claim process, what was called the GUC, or the General Unsecured Creditor Trust. So for everyone that was eligible there and for the findings there, they'll roll over into this new settlement that we've just effectuated between TPC, DOJ, and the various plaintiff law firms involved. That should fund this July. And when it does, we should be able to make the distributions through the trust in pretty short order. Again, the bankruptcy trust and the trustees there took 2 or 3 years. Some of them still haven't been resolved, but we think that we have a track mechanism from lessons learned from the bankruptcy trust about how not to do it, and hopefully get these trustees to do it in a different manner where they're better prepared to turn around the monies once they're received much quicker than what happened there. So the good news is there will be some compensation for everyone's economic losses associated to the monies that are being paid by TPC for their statutory violations there as part of their deal with the Department of Justice. The other thing that's left is with Nalco. They're the only remaining defendant. As I mentioned before, Nalco is the company that was responsible for putting the inhibitors or the injectable materials into the butadiene so that it would not form polymers that would expand and rupture pipes. And they didn't do a good job here. There were some places in the line where there was no inhibitor in it and there was no flow. And we have always said Nalco should have identified those areas and worked with TPC to address them. And that didn't happen. So we did get a mediation last month. The mediation resulted in Nalco putting some monies on the table for the first time to all of you, but it's nowhere near at this time what they paid the few cases that they did pay last year. So unless until we get them to the table for a better number, we're still haggling with them. So The court has authorized this mediation process and in fact ordered it, and there will be a reconvening of the mediation in June. And we're cautiously optimistic as a result of some discussions with Nalco's lawyers and their various different insurance carriers that we'll make more progress in June, and there may be a chance of actually settling at that time. So again, we'll keep everyone posted on developments there. If we don't get resolution by mediation, we're almost complete with all of the fact witness discovery. We've deposed many of the people that worked at Nalco, both at their Houston facility and at their national facilities, and of course at the Port Neches facility. And we're now at the point of using the experts and all the work product they've done to prepare our final reports, take their depositions, and then be prepared for trial. And we would expect by the end of this year, the courts releasing cases for individual trials as a result of the conclusion of the uniform discovery. So that's where we're at. Again, a lot of progress on a lot of fronts. Some money's coming your way this summer or early fall, unless something really unusual happens. And then, of course, our cautious optimism now of maybe getting resolution to Nalco a little later this year. So thank you for your patience, and stay tuned.
You've been watching a litigation update with Brent Kuhn and Associates. Brent Kuhn and Associates is a nationally recognized law firm and the epitome of the 21st century law practice. The firm has built its reputation on the satisfaction of its clients and the respect of both colleagues and opponents. Our mission is to help ensure that individuals' rights are protected and their well-being respected. For more information about Brent Kuhn and Associates and current litigation, please visit bkuhnlaw.com.